The loss of the ancient world's most single greatest archives of knowledge, the Library of Alexandria, has been lamented for ages. But how and why it was lost is still a mystery. The mystery exists not only because there is lack of suspects, but from an excess of them. Alexandria was found in Egypt by Alexander the Great. His successor as Pharaoh Ptolemy founded the museum, also called the Museum of Alexandria, or the Royal Library of Alexandria in 283 BC. The museum was a shrine of muses modeled after the Lyceum of Aristotle in Athens. The museum was a place of study which included lecture areas, gardens, a zoo, and shrines for each of the 9 muses, as well as the library itself. It has been estimated that at one time, the Library of Alexandria held over 500,000 documents from Assyria, Greece, Persia, Egypt, India, and many other nations. Over 100 scholars lived at the museum full-time to perform research, write, lecture, or translate and copy documents. The library was so large that it actually had another branch or daughter library at the temple of Serapis. The first person blamed for the destruction of the library is none other than Julius Caesar himself. In 48 BC, Caesar was pursuing a Pompey into Egypt when he was suddenly cut off by an Egyptian fleet at Alexandria. Greatly outnumbered and in enemy territory, Caesar ordered the ships in the harbor to be set on fire. The fire spread and destroyed the Egyptian fleet. Unfortunately, it also burned down part of the city, the area where the great library stood. Caesar wrote of starting the fire in the harbor but neglected to mention the burning of the library. Such an omission proves little, since he was not in the habit of including unflattering facts while writing his own history. But Caesar was not without public detractors. If he was solely to blame for the disappearance of the library, it is very likely significant documentation on the affairs that would exist today. The second story of the library's destruction is more popular, thanks to primarily Edward Gibbon's The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire writings. But the story is also a tad more complex. Theophilus was Patriarch of Alexandria from 385 to 412 AD. During his reign, the temple of Serapis was converted into a Christian church, probably around 391 AD, and it is likely that many documents were destroyed then. The temple of Serapis was estimated to hold about 10% of the overall Library of Alexandria's holdings. After his death, his nephew, Cyril, became patriarch. Shortly after that, riots broke out when Hylax, a Christian monk, was publicly killed by order of Orestes, the city prefect. Orestes was said to be under the influence of Hypatia, a female philosopher and daughter of the last member of the Library of Alexandria. Although it should be noted that some count Hypatia herself as the last head of librarian. Alexandria had long been known for its violent and volatile politics. Christians, Jews, pagans all lived together in the city. One ancient writer claimed that there were no people who loved a fight more than those in Alexandria. Immediately after the death of Hylax, a group of Jews who had helped instigate his killing lured more Christians into the street at night by proclaiming that the church was on fire. When the Christians rushed out, the largely Jewish mob slew many of them. After this, there was mass havoc as Christians retaliated against both the Jews and the pagans. one of which was Hypatia. The story varies slightly depending upon who tells it, but she was taken by the Christians, dragged through the streets, and murdered. Some regard the death of Hypatia as the final destruction of the library. Others blame Theophilus for destroying the last of the scroll when he razed the temple of Serapis prior to making it a Christian church. Still others have confused both incidents and blamed Theophilus for simultaneously murdering Hypatia and destroying the library, though it is obvious Theophilus died sometime prior to Hypatia. The final individual to be blamed for the destruction is the Muslim Caliph Omar. In 640 AD, the Muslims took the city of Alexandria. Upon learning of a great library containing all the knowledge of the world, the conquering general supposedly asked Caliph Omar for instructions. The Caliph has been quoted as saying of the library's holding, they will either contradict the Quran, in which case they are heresy, or they will agree with it, so they are superfluous. So allegedly, all these texts were destroyed by using them as tinder for the bathhouses of the city. Even then, it was said to have taken 6 months to burn all the documents. But these details from the Caliph's quotes to the incredible 6 months is supposedly took all to burn the books weren't written down until 300 years after the fact. These facts condemning Omar were written by Bishop Gregory Bal-Hebras, a Christian who spent a great deal of time writing about Muslim atrocities without much historical documentation. So who banned the Library of Alexandria? Unfortunately, most of the writers from Plutarch, who apparently blamed Caesar, to Edward Gibson, a staunch atheist or deist who like very much to blame Christian or blamed Theophilus, to Bishop Gregory, who was particularly anti-Muslim that blamed Omar, all had an X-grinned and consequently must be seen as biased. Probably everyone mentioned above had some hand in destroying some part of the library's holdings. The collection may have ebbed and flowed as some documents were destroyed and others were added. For instance, Mark Antony was supposed to have given Cleopatra over 200,000 scrolls of the library long after Julius Caesar was accused of burning it. It is also quite likely that even if the museum was destroyed with the main library, the outlying daughter library at the Temple of Serapis would continue on. Many writers seem to equate the Library of Alexandria with the Library of Serapis, although technically they were in two different parts of the city. The real tragedy, of course, is not the uncertainty of knowing who to blame for the library's destruction, but that so much of ancient history, literature, and learning was lost forever. The story of the Library of Alexandria is mostly a legend, but the lesson of its burning is still crucial today. My name is Osie The Born Child. Let's discuss some more in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe to the African Diaspora News channel and the African Diaspora News Insider. I'll be seeing you in another video, but for now, please come in the comment section and let me know what you think. Bye bye. Love you all.